Hello, welcome to the Word Café Podcast. This podcast has been designed with curated content that centers on the power of words. Can we really do anything without speaking? Can we really do anything without the agency of words? Yes, that is what this podcast is all about. And I am your host, Amakri Soboye, your neighborhood word trader. I believe in the power of words, for it is the unit of creation. I trade in words to profit my world. Yeah, hello there, people. How are you all doing? Yes, we're back. I should begin this with a large Happy New Year. Yes, this is the first show for the year on the Word Café live show, and I'm super excited. I've been here with you. It's been a wonderful, wonderful journey. Thank you for being there with me throughout 2021. When we started, and here we are. Awesome. Today I have a wonderful person with me in the studio to, begin the year. You're wondering, who is this person? Well, my first encounter with him was like, he has this personality. Don't worry, when I bring him on, see him, he is a communication expert. He's into that thing called communication, and he has a way around it that tickles my fancy. Enough of the talking. I'm going to bring him on now. What is his name? Don't worry, when I bring him on, we will call his name. Where is he? There he is. Hello, Flo. You're welcome.
Hello, and then we also start with Happy New Year, everybody.
Exactly.
Happy New Year. 2022.
Exactly. When we came into 2022, as in from 2021, I was just like, when did 20, as in the word 20, when did it start for us? And it's like, it started with the COVID year and all that, but we're here. Thankfully to God, we're here. Guys, I am with Flo Akinbiyi. Yes, that's his name. He goes with this line that I like a lot. He said, go with the flow. That's the way he says it. But I'm going to allow him introduce himself, because you know how we do it on the show. We allow people to introduce themselves because nobody knows you like you. All right, you have the floor, Flo. Who is Flo Akinbiyi?
Well, thank you very much for having me and for allowing me to introduce myself. Well, as you can see, I am a typical German, as my Afro and my last name do not give away. I'm not a typical German. However, I'm born and raised in Germany, but my dad is from Nigeria, from Ibadan. Now, I did not travel to Nigeria for 7 years, so it's been a while.
Wow.
And, well, there's a lot of African culture that still needs to be explored. Let's just put it that way. Mm-hmm. And just to give you a bit of background, what I do and what is my background. My professional background is basically 17 years of organizing events and experiential marketing. And in 2016, I decided to become self-employed again, and I worked as a freelance event director, but then I diversified it. So I worked as a freelance event director, I worked as an event moderator, I worked as a public speaking coach, doing wedding ceremonies, and now today and over the last years, I've really specialized into either work as a presenter on stage or in virtual formats, or I'm working as a communication coach. And communication coaching for me is very specific to presentation skills, public speaking, and virtual communication. And I have to say, it's a topic that I'm very grateful that I've chosen this topic, because it is a topic where you can never stop learning. There's so much inspiration. Every person on this planet can teach you something around communication, whether they like it or not. And also, it is incredible, because if you're a great communicator, you can win more business, you can win more clients, you can get people excited, you can get your fiance or your girlfriend to say, yes, I want to marry you because you've just delivered the best speech of their life. You can do so many things with communication, and that's why I'm truly, truly passionate about it, because it can really change the world.
Awesome. When you introduced yourself, as at the beginning, when you talked about the Nigerian thing, your dad is from Ibadan, like you said, and you talked about, you went into the communication thing. Do you know what came to my mind? I just said to myself, that is the Nigerian in you, because Nigerians like talking, and precisely people from that part of the country, as in where you're from, as in your dad is from, we like talking, and somehow it's like you just took that thing from there and you have churned it and you've made so much out of it. Awesome. Now, how did you discover this as in communication for you? How did you discover it?
I have to say I'm fortunate. It's been a gradual journey, but I'll take you back to the beginning of my story. When I was in school, my mom sent us to a choir, and that was already great because it already put us on stages. Whether it's small stages, big stages, doesn't matter too much, but you already learned what it means to be on a stage, and you also trained your voice a little bit. And then I was self-employed in Germany. I was organizing events, and the first event that I organized in my hometown, it was a surf competition in an indoor surf wave. The first event, the swimming pool was all excited about it. They were all out. They had a film team, they had a presenter, they had everything. The next event, but it was a little bit reduced, so there was no film team, there was no presenter. And just a few days before, I was like scratching my head. I'm like, who's going to actually announce the next surfer, and who's gonna tell the audience what is happening? And everybody looks at me like, we don't know. So I said, well, then I have to organize and also moderate. It's my event, so obviously I want to make it the best possible experience that it could be. And that's how I really started. That was in 2006, and then ever since I've been just moderating. When I came to Dubai, I stopped moderating. I just focused on working in events and working in a corporate environment. But I knew there was something missing, and I wanted to be self-employed again. So therefore, I consulted a life coach. She helped me to explore what I liked in life and what was my interest, and communication, working as a moderator just came up again. So therefore, I went to Toastmasters. I fine-tuned my skills because before I never moderated in English, and that's where Toastmasters and lots of speeches helped me to get the confidence, get more experience, and then be ready to be on the stage in Dubai again. And also through Toastmasters, I came to work as a communication coach, because part of Toastmasters is that you also get to evaluate other people, you get to coach them, you get to mentor them. And that was something that just resonated with me, and something I also enjoyed. And that's how I went on with this journey.
Now, you said you had to learn English, because I was about asking you, because when you talked about growing up in Germany, being a German, I was like, okay, fine. For him to work in this space, definitely he didn't start speaking English, I want to believe. So he started doing it in Germany, or in German, I beg your pardon. Then he evolved into English. How did you get to that point, as in the transition for you?
Well, first of all, I have to say that I was lucky that after school, I got to spend a year in Canada, well, half a year in Canada. So that already helped to elevate my English a little bit. But then really when I came to Dubai, my English became better, and that was really good. So while my English was just getting gradually better, then when I joined Toastmasters, I also focused on improving my English a little bit. And eventually, it is not just about English. When it comes to communication, using simple language is nothing wrong. And I sometimes even consciously do that. I don't like to use the big and fancy words when I'm a presenter, and also not in presentations, because in Dubai, we've got a very, very international, multinational audience. So therefore, if you use a simple language, everybody understands you. If you use big and fancy words, you'll impress some people, others you confuse, others will never understand you. So therefore, it's not always an advantage. So simple language is okay. And don't forget, right? If you look at the amount of English speakers around the world, actually the amount of native speakers is smaller than the amount of non-native speakers. So therefore, it's even okay to work as a professional in this field without being a native speaker or having studied English.
Okay, now how do you approach this? Because it's like each question I ask you, in it you pick up the next question. When you talk about communication, yes. When you talk about communication, first thing that comes to a lot of us as in our minds is English. But you and I know that it's not about English. It's about language, how to handle it. So how do you go about that? How do you really go about that, given that you are in a very diverse space in Dubai?
Well, when it comes to language, I think it's best to look at children. It is really, I'm a father of a 3-year-old, and I can see that this is how you should actually approach learning a language, by just speaking it, making mistakes, and then of course learning them, learning how to get rid of them, but learning and speaking and speaking and speaking. While what we in school learned, and that's actually quite interesting, we learned in school that you need to first understand all the grammar, and then you should only really go out into the world. Well, I say the other way around. Yes, learn the grammar, but at the same time, speak. So start these conversations, because as you said, it's more about the language and more about your ability to communicate than it is always about having that perfect word or actually having the perfect grammar in place. You don't have to be able to, you don't have to have that in place in order to tell a great story. That's a fact.
Now, I'm going to ask you this question because I've been going through it for a while. Do you think in German, or you reason and think in English?
That is such a good question.
Yeah.
And to be honest, I don't know. I don't know. I know that sometimes I would think in German and sometimes I would think in English. And with my son, it gets even more complicated because we are raising him in 3 languages. So basically, I speak to him German as much as I can, but sometimes I also default to English. Then my wife speaks to him in Italian in the same manner. She also sometimes goes back to English. She's Italian, yes.
Oh, mamma mia, mamma mia.
Mamma mia, exactly. So therefore, I have no idea. But that's okay. As long as we get around, we're okay.
But what is it like when you think in German? I know I am asking that question to tell you why. What is it like when you think in German? Do you unearth more meaning to what you do? Like you present it better when you think in German?
Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Hello, nerds. Come listen to the History Nerds United podcast and let's make history fun again. We interview today's best authors, whether they are established Pulitzer Prize winners or someone debuting their first book. Let us show you that history is not a boring class you took in high school, but a place where the best stories come from. And we don't just cover history, we also love to chat about true crime, biographies, memoirs, and so much more. So head on over to History Nerds United and let us introduce you to your new favorite book and learn the story behind the story.
History Nerds United.
I would say not necessarily. If I think in German, that would mean I need to translate. So therefore, I might make things more complicated, or I might translate something a little bit wrong. Of course, if you can just think on the fly, it's easier. And something actually that is quite interesting, because I moderate 99% or 90% in English. Whenever I have to do something in German, I find it a lot more difficult. I need to prepare more, just because my brain is right now wired to moderate in English, to speak officially in business English. So therefore, yes, German, even though it is my first language, is a little bit more difficult in these cases.
So let's look at growing up in Germany. What was it like for you, having, permit me, no offense, your skin color, your hairstyle? What was it like?
Well, to be quite honest, it was great. We had a good childhood. Yes, we had a good childhood. Yes, of course, there was the occasional, when I was young, I mean, I grew up in a town with 16,000 people, so there was the occasional child that made fun about my skin color, simply because they didn't see anybody else around that. So maybe somebody would call me chocolate man, but now in hindsight, I mean, I love being the chocolate man. I have no problem with being the chocolate man. So I'm very thankful for these jokes because that's what made me strong and creative in the long run.
Whoa.
But I had to I had to wrap my head around that, and it didn't happen too much. But yes, every now and then, I had very few incidences with really racism. Very few. I think I could count them on one hand, and that in 30 years of living in Germany. And well, it was good. It was good. I enjoyed it, and for me, actually, being somebody who looked very different than all the others, who also sometimes enters into a room and gets a look, and then you have to find your way to still connect to people, to speak a Bavarian dialect, to be creative. That is actually such a incredible ingredient to now my communication formula, because I understand what it means to be an authentic communicator, what it means to look at all your superpowers that you have and use them to your advantage. And therefore, I'm grateful for being the one who was kind of forced to stand out, but now I wouldn't want to have it any other way.
Awesome. Now, what's the atmosphere like in Dubai, for you and your art, what you do? What is it like? Because I know I think you moderated at the Expo 2020, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, well, we moderate anywhere and everywhere. There's a lot of events and conferences happening in Dubai, so that's really, really cool. So you get to work with a lot of amazing brands, world-class brands, and lots of different venues, and that's fantastic. And yes, also at Expo. So at Expo, I moderate, of course, at the German Pavilion, and I did a collaboration with them. So we found a few, because it's also about then the sustainability pavilion, and the culture lab that they set up is about also finding new talent and promoting new talent. So we found people that were interested in becoming presenters, moderators, and we have helped them. I've trained them now, and we've helped them to be comfortable on the stage, and therefore now they do most of the shifts, and every now and then I also moderate an event there. And overall, I have to say Dubai is fantastic. One of the reasons why I love Dubai is because I really feel at home here. And especially over the last years, it occurred more to me that, the only place on this planet where I felt that everybody looks like me was the Seychelles. The Seychelles was so far the only place where I this could be my home. Everybody looks like me. I never had that. And Dubai is the same, just in a very different way. Everybody has a story, right? People are from India and from Pakistan and from China and from the USA and from Europe and all over the place, and Emiratis, and then they're married to this nationality and here and there. It's all over the place. And every child speaks English and then another and two languages, and it is a wonderful melting pot. So therefore, I just feel really, really comfortable here. It's a vibe, and it's a culture that resonates very well with.
Amazing. So what's your plan to come home and let's have a bit of this juice here in Nigeria? What's your plan? Well, I
have put out to the universe. I do believe in the universe, and if you send out the right energy, good things come back. And of course, you have to put in the work, right? But I want to do some business in Africa. So definitely, whether that's presenting or whether it's going to be communication workshops or whatever it is, we'll do something here in Nigeria, and that will definitely happen in the next couple of years. So I'm excited about it. I've already done 2 events in South Africa, so we're getting closer. We're coming there.
Closer.
We're getting there.
And you're doing one virtually now, so we're getting there. We're getting closer.
Exactly.
So what's your plan for 2022? What's the plan, as in for Flo Akinbiyi? What's the plan? What do you look forward to?
Well, I have to say I'm right now in the middle of goal setting. I have not done that end of last year. I was just exhausted and decided to take Christmas and New Year's off. But I'm really working on my goals right now, and on my plan and social media strategy and whatnot. And what I'm definitely already seeing is that I'm excited to help more people to become great communicators. As I said it before, right? If you're a great communicator, you can change the world. And that's not just something that I say. I mean, just look at politics, right? Look at the biggest, the greatest speakers in the world, whether it's Winston Churchill or John F. Kennedy or Barack Obama. These guys always were outstanding communicators. So helping more people to become outstanding communicators, that is definitely what I'm looking forward to. And I've seen it in my work. I mean, I help for example, an architectural firm, an agency to deliver a pitch better instead of just drawings, which they usually had to hand in for a project they once had to present to a client. They had no idea how, so they were literally presenting the technical drawings in a technical way, which didn't work. And then once we worked together, they actually started to tell stories and look at the emotions and present as a human being one to another, and in a great way. And they therefore won a 10 million euro project, right? Fantastic. And communication is again one part of winning that project, right? Or I worked last year with an employee at one of the big consultants firms, and she was applying for a director role. And I mean, crazy, the amount of work and assessments and presentations and engagements they have to do in order to just get that promotion is crazy. So again, we worked together to make sure that she's able to deliver her pitch, to tell her story in the best way. And again, that communication puzzle helped her to win that, well, to get that promotion. And that's what I see in my work all the time, right? When you work on that communication skill, I would lie if I could take all the credit for myself. And I would never dare to do that, because at the end of the day, right, your content has to be good. And I can help you to frame that content, but if you talk hot air, then it's still going to be hot air. Maybe it sounds better, but it's still hot air. But if you have good content, if you are really putting in the effort, then amazing things can happen through communication. And that's, I'm really, really excited in 2022 to work with more people through various different channels and various different products and services.
Awesome. You know, when you use that word, unearthing the power of communication, citing all those examples of great communicators we've had pass through this earth, what came to my mind was, you know, when an individual comes to discover the power, the latent power, so to say, in a given product or activity, and you begin to like harness it over and over and over, it's all about time. It opens up to you, and you know, the power, inherent power opens up to you, and you begin to change. Like you said, you begin to change your world. Imagine when you talked about the architectural firm, you think it's all about drawings and designs and what have you, but no, there is a communication bit to what you're doing. So it's like that's the missing piece in the puzzle, I beg your pardon, and boom, when that comes in, I mean, you have all that. Amazing. Now, goal setting, you said you're working on it, and I know the way it works. You should have something somewhere hanging that you know that you want to achieve. What is that one thing for you in 2022? You know, aside the goal setting and all that, I am looking forward to this. I need to go for it.
Well, let me show you on my phone. You see that?
Yes, glass. No, class.
Well, class, exactly. And you see the earth.
Yes.
So that's what I put out for myself.
Yes, I've seen the earth.
Yeah, exactly. World class. Earth, world class.
That is
world class. So exactly as you said, I visualized. You know what? I'll tell you the story behind it. I did in 2020. I did a workshop with an African outstanding author, futurist, great, fantastic guy. He's a mentor. He's a friend. He's an outstanding individual. John Sané. Check him out. He is absolutely fantastic. And we did this Getting Future Ready and how to prepare for an uncertain future workshop. And he told about his word of the year. And he's been doing that for years. And he very religiously changes his email address into the word of the year and just lives and breathes it. And so that was 2020 for me, tough year. I lost all of my business. I went to zero. We didn't know if we could continue to live in Dubai because there was no income, and we had expenses flowing in. We've got our own company. We've got a son here. we had no idea. And I decided then and there to make it work. I'll find a way. I will make it work. I will not go into employment. I will not go home to live in my children's room. I will make it work. And we found a way, and we did make it work. And during that workshop, he introduced that concept. And I've been doing goal setting for the last, 10 plus years, man. No, even more, almost 15 years. And it's been always very good. But I never had that one word, that one overarching theme. And so in 2020, I took lemonade, right? Because I said, if life gives you lemons, then you want to make lemonade out of it. So that was my word of the year, lemonade, something simple, but it should remind me that I don't just want to create a handcrafted lemonade. I wanted to create a brand out of it. So basically bringing my business out of track and bringing in some cash flow in. So I can't stay in Dubai, and we managed to do that. So in 2021, I took the word quantum leap, because from 2020 just being barely able to survive, I decided to, let's make sure that the business starts running again, and we can look into a more prosperous future. And we also get in more interesting clients. We get more amazing work, and in the field that we work in, we also take ourselves to the next level. So that word was quantum leap. So a lot of energy. I found that word in the beginning very scary. Didn't know if this is not too arrogant to even think that I could achieve something like that. But it was great, and if I look back, fantastic word. And this year I selected for myself world class, and I did that actually after hosting an event where I had the privilege and honor to interview and to present Robin Sharma, the author.
I think I saw that. Yeah, I saw that.
You saw that? Oh, excellent.
Yeah,
and he speaks a lot about world class. He speaks a lot about being world class. And I like this theme so much because it's such a stretch, right? It really means that you have to step up your game. You have to do things differently. You have to put in more effort, and you just have to constantly challenge and push yourself. And that's why I selected that word. And what it means to me is not just to be the best world class in work life. I also want to apply that to my private life, to being a world-class family father, to being a world-class husband, to just, everything I do should be world-class. That's what I'm challenging myself this year with.
You just gave me the word for 2022, world class. Last year I attended a program. I belong to this tribe, and we regularly meet and all that. And we ended the year with one of a retreat. And the theme of that retreat was, as in summary, was global impact. You becoming that global brand. And the minute you showed me that and you explained it, that was what just came to my mind. World class. You are in that class that is global, so to say, and you're just there. Amazing. Flo, thank you so much for this time. I know, you're on vacation, and you just created this time for us to do this. I am so grateful. Guys, I've been discussing with, Flo Akinbiyi, the communication expert. Let me tell you how I saw you, as in pictured it the first time I saw you. Albert Einstein, the way that picture he took of himself. He didn't take it, actually they took of, that famous one. And the first time I saw you, I was like, this is the Einstein of communication in this era. Because the way you present it, the way you communicate, the way you put your stuff out there, the truth be told, it is exceptional. Honestly, it is. And thank you for doing this.
Have a talk yet?
Yes, let's see her. She wants to be seen. Yeah.
She wants to be seen. She's not mine. I'm just dog sitting for a while. Hey.
Okay.
That's what happens in the pandemic. Somebody's stuck in the UK with COVID, so therefore I have a dog. She's cute, right? That helps. That helps.
What's her name?
Pacha.
Oh. Okay. One final word before I let you go. One final word.
Really, one message for every professional out there, for every entrepreneur, for whatever you do, even a housewife, a houseman, whatever you are. become a great communicator, because communication can serve you in so many ways. And if you just think about it, I look at the corporate world because this is a lot what I do. If you think about the corporate world and you are a professional, let's say mid-level manager, ask yourself that question. What would happen to your career if you are by far the best presenter, the best speaker, out of all the other managers in the same mid-level management position? What would happen? I can guarantee you one thing. You would be one of the next people that will either be promoted or being snatched up by a different company, because as a great communicator, they would send you to conferences, you would get external speaking engagement, you will just make a buzz, and that's what's going to happen. So therefore, that's one example of how communication can serve you so well, and it is fun, it is great, and it is what we do every time. All you need to do is become conscious, become aware, and then just learn and strive to improve yourself, become aware of your superpowers, and from there, you can fly. That's what I would say.
Awesome. Guys, we just heard it from the communication expert. Whatever you're doing this year, people, whatever you're doing, don't forget, you must build your superpower with regards to communication, effective communication. It will set you apart. I am so honored having Flo Akinbiyi on the show today. Guys, you know how we do it. We come into the studio, lean on one another to learn and to be better. So till I come your way again, it's Amakri Isoboye on the Word Café live show. Don't worry, 2022 has a lot. We are starting by communicating. Imagine what will happen when we dwell on it. Thank you so much. Till I come your way again, it is bye for now.
Oh, yeah, beautiful. Before we sign off, I just want to encourage you. Yeah, it's been a wonderful time. And also, I'd like to hear from you, your feedback. You've been listening to the Word Café Podcast. I would love to hear from you, the feedback. If you have any questions, you go ahead and ask those questions. You can reach me at my email address, amakrigaribaldi@gmail.com. Amakri is AMACHRIBALDI@gmail.com. And we'll get back. You know how we do it on the show. Thank you.
Awesome time it has been with you on the Word Café Podcast today. Thank you for being there. You can catch me up on my social media handles, Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, all at Amakri Isoboye. Also, you can get copies of my books, A Cocktail of Words, The Color of Words, and my HR notebook on Amazon and on Roving Heights online bookstores. You can also subscribe to my YouTube page at the same address. Yes, till we see you again. Bye for now.